Hello everybody, my name is Elenator and welcome back to Minecraft Flippin' the Switch. Oh boy. We've got a witch to take care of, it would seem. Hello, how's it going? Yeah. Yeah. I might have missed 3 times, but it's okay because we won in the end. Oh, we don't have the space for that. Well, I didn't realize that I was already running out of inventory space. Yeah, the shovel's not gonna go away fast enough. Back up. I finished eating my cereal not too long before this, but I think I might need some water. I've learned my lesson. Don't mute from the headset itself, mute from OBS. That way, there's no hardware issue. Or no exemplifying the hardware issue, I should say. In fact, I'll do that real fast. Alright, we're good. Alrighty, so we are 19, we're almost full. There's more condensation on that water bottle than I wanted there to be. Whoop. Well, thankfully this stack will fill up rather quickly and then we'll head on out. Head back to the little mountain base. You know, I should name it. I wonder if I should have like another outpost on here. Truth be told, there's not really any problem to not exploring other than increasing the world size, because I'm kind of at the point where... Whoop. Alright, that's the cave. We're kind of at the point where all the new features have already been added. Oops, oopsies. Howdy, howdy, welcome to the stream. Here, what we'll do real fast. We'll head down here, we're gonna place that 2 redstone. We're gonna place the 1 cobblestone. And look, now we have more inventory space. What's the question in regards to old Minecraft? Now we can pick up all of this and we can wait around just a little bit longer. Howdy as well, welcome back. Shovels halfway gone. Ores spawn more often in the positive quadrant. The sun rises in the north and sets in the south. North is negative Z. North is negative Z. South is positive Z. East is, I believe, positive X. And south is negative X. Or west is negative X. Alright, let's swap shovels before we lose it. Go towards the sunset and then go left for however many blocks. Enjoy your time, have fun mining. Your machine, street sweeper day. Vroom, they go as they drive by. Oh, alright. This one we will... It'd be really nice if I could see the item counts. Was that it? Whoops. I I'll just take that. Alright, away we go. Come on, Oreo, time to head back. Oops. Yeah, I need a bridge, like, right here. That way I could just zip across, and there won't be any problem. Unfortunately, I gotta go over here. Oops. All these trees are also kind of in the way. I wonder if I'll be gathering wood from here. Howdy, welcome back. Howdy to all of y'all who are joining. I see noises. Alright, the noises stopped, I believe. Oops. Using Faithful. I don't know how to install Faithful on here. I don't even know how many of the resource packs they have are HD. Did that one wheat grow up yet? No! Wheat, why you do this to me? Come on. I'm kind of tempted to bone meal it at this point, but like I don't have any ready. Alright, so what we'll do, we'll continue on from yesterday. We are ever so slowly turning that big chunk of land into a desert. It is a slow process, but we are getting there, and I'm gonna remember, I want to keep the shears on me, because I'm probably gonna head back to the desert, if not for sand, at least to get more dead bushes. Alright, we'll start here, and then as the dirt fills up our inventory space, then we'll come back here. Minecraft, or defeating the Ender Dragon is your main goal. Well, like, that requires new versions, and by new, I mean within the past 15 years, almost, this November. The thing with Minecraft is, to enjoy it, you have to come up with your own goals. And did I... boop. So a lot of people probably find old Minecraft boring, because that requires more of your imagination. But at the same time, it's also why other groups of people prefer old Minecraft. It will always be sad to me to think that there's people who only ever know Joppa look in Minecraft and the 1.18 terrain. Sad times. Did I hit the end of the sign render? You see them all poof into existence over there. It's kind of funny. Alrighty, so we still have enough shovel durability. Oh wait. Nope, still not hit the yellow. Oi. It's raining. I didn't sleep last night. No, all my snow. No, I've tried so hard to clean up this area. This is not a thunderstorm, right? I can't sleep. No. Alright. Alright, I guess it's Christmas. Oi. Oh well. Why do the particles just stop? This isn't snow level. Is it because I'm almost at snow level? There's no transition, it just pops in and out. I wouldn't be surprised if there's already a snow cleaning simulator. You've got Power Wash Simulator, you have several, like, convenience store simulators. What else? You already have a plethora of driving simulators. Hold on, it's not turning night, right? Or is it? Is that the sunset? Hold on, we're gonna head back up. Maybe I just had to wait a wee bit longer. There's another one. Oh, it was a kaiju cleanup. I don't know if that's the name of what it's called, but basically, it's another 4-player co-op game where you and your buddies get to clean up the corpse of a kaiju. That's kind of interesting. Alright, how much snow is there? There's you, a little bit of you. And for all the snow that was coming down, there's not a lot that spawned. There's some on the roof. Oh well. Alright, now we can get back to work as we've slept to reset the weather timer. Isn't Fabulously Optimized a mod pack? Alright, let's see. Where was I on the Great Replacement process? I think I was over here, right? Because we're on this level. Fabulously Optimized was probably chosen for a reason. No, thank you. Oh, gotta replace that now before I forget. Alright, did I reach this side? Close enough. We'll start working on the next layer. Maybe I should bring over some sandstone. Maybe that will really sell this as a fake desert. Because if I bring sandstone, then I could fill this area in some. And then it'll look more like a proper desert. I come back for here later. Oops. Let's fill that in. I think I remember what video you're talking about. He showcased different like quality of life and performance mods, right? I'm pretty sure, I even remember he said that the reason why he made that video is because he was having difficulty with Optifine after however long with modern Minecraft. From my experiences, these days I only recommend Optifine for versions before 1.13. I wonder if I should just leave the torches for now. I have the inventory space. We'll come back for the sand later. I'm surprised that Optifine bug, the Optifine visuals bug, didn't get fixed until 1.1. Every so often in the Council of Farlanders, someone wants to use Optifine for beta 1.7, and I'm like, haha, you really want to go to the Farlands with that? And so I point them to Ant's video, and they change their mind. What a persuasive argument I seem to make. Although I wasn't the one stating the claim. Oh man, I lost the shovel. It's so much nicer when I can just look down and see the durability it's at. That doesn't happen anymore. In fact, I think whatever ghost durability there was... Wait for that to fade away. Yeah, I don't see it anymore. It was there yesterday. Why not just build a town in the Nether and call that the Netherlands? Netherrack and a swamp? I don't know how well those two colors would go together. I was never taught color theory or anything, but I'm trying to envision that, and I'm envisioning ugliness. It's hard for me to visualize anything built out of netherrack that's not part of the nether and its caves and whatnot. But that's just me. Alright, let's go fill all this in, and then we'll do a big sweeping pass after for all these torches. Or, I guess while I'm on this side of my little peninsula, I'll just do it now. Like here, let's swap these, that way it's less fun clicking every time. If it's meant to be silly, then that's more understandable. Two clicks, not three. We're almost there, but I'm starting to wonder if we're going to end up running out of sand. Thankfully, we brought much more sand than this. In fact, I could have estimated based on the amount of dirt we collected. Alright, so we will have enough, but we are indeed getting low on sand. I've gotten comfortable with my torch spam. All goes back to 2013, I guess. 2012, 2013, in the beginning of me and YouTube. Me and Minecraft YouTube. RuneShark's Minecraft Adventures. Simon, I believe, was the one who liked placing torches everywhere. Although I never properly did it until my Who Knows test world from 2016. October to December 2016. Which, oh boy, that world's about to turn 10 years old. I remember when I worked on it. Man, that was so long ago. That was the first time I tried doing a proper NDev world and bringing it over into InfDev to see what it was like. After Minecraft nostalgia, which was sort of just, I don't know what I'm doing, but this looks fun. Alright, well, we made it back here. Howdy, welcome back. Yeah, we might just leave this for now, and then I'll come back with sandstone later. One thing at a time, I suppose. However, we only have 2 stacks and 16 left. That's not going to last us very long. But before I forget, we're going to combine shovels. Give me that plus 5% durability. Once we run out of sand, or in fact, how about we'll finish digging up this layer, and then we'll go put all the dirt away, and then pick up the rest of the sand that we accumulated. This is one random block there, let's just get rid of that now. Smooth that out. Oh wait, all of this has got to go. Whoops. I believe in universal howdiness. Anyone can say howdy if you believe in it strong enough. There's probably some sort of philosophy to that. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. But it's more interesting than saying hello or hey. I'm not a 2000 skateboarders, I don't say sup. Alright, this shovel's almost gone, so perhaps time to bail out now. Just take one quick look, make sure there's no dirt left behind, because I need to come back. Oop, there it is. Let's not lose out on the dirt. I don't know what I'll use it for, but I'd rather accumulate it now. I left a blue orchid behind. We'll be back for it later. Time to toss the dirt and realize that we might just fill up this chest, in which case I'll be a little sad, but I'll probably start filling up this one since we don't seem to be acquiring cobblestone at a fast pace. So I have an egg. Where are the mob drops? Alright, let's catch some Z's, reset the weather timer, no more snow please. Although I do wonder if there is any on the roof, but we'll just have to not think about that. Alrighty, so we will make how about 4? No, we'll spend it all. Go all in. There's 5. So I need 10. Nope, that's gonna bother me. Build the tool in the middle. Alright, back to work. Also move that over for now. We're getting there. I'm starting to see a lot of sand. I don't think I'll have enough to cover this, but we're getting there. We're gonna try. Sorry, Vines, you gotta go, but I didn't want to break you with a shovel. I'm I need to watch my inventory space, because I'd rather not fill it up like I was dealing with earlier. Pretty soon here I'll need to start placing the sand down. That way I could have space for more of the dirt that I'll be accumulating. C418 started working on music in Classic, I believe. I anticipated he would have worked on all tracks to coincide. Of course, the ones that made it into the game, not referring to Volume Alpha as a whole. Alright, now we're gonna combine. Oh, we're almost there. After this layer, there's only going to be one more floating around. What kind of purple are we talking? Something dark like violet, or are we talking something pale like lavender? Something dark might look good if you have a way to blend the between areas. Otherwise, it's just going to really stand out. You need something to dampen the contrast between. Otherwise, just having a big purple structure on top of the bright sand won't look too good. I'm starting to believe we don't have the same views of building. Move that over. If C418 wasn't kicked out, we would have had Minecraft Volume 3 by now. Whatever it's called. C418 confirmed it was not going to be called Volume Gamma. So I don't know what it would have been called. But we would have had it by now. We'll leave that, because I think I'll need to build up. Yes, mushroom, I know. I'm working on it. Thank you. Now let's get one more of these stacks down and go from there. That was such a slow pickup animation. I'm still not used to that. Seeing items take their sweet time getting over here. I'm pretty sure it has to do with server latency. And that's just not something ever introduced to Java. But I can't prove it. Take a look, is that important? Nope. Already back to work. I'm still probably going to end up smoothing that area out, but we'll wait for now. Let's get down all the sand we can for the time being. Although I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it and we're going to end up running out before the end. I feel like we could put those allegations away because we have several copies of 2010 resource folders. The music discs were there. If that's what you're referring to. Oh yes, that is where you clarified. Including everyone's favorite Where Are We Now? Unfortunately, Where Are We Now didn't get to be included because Notch didn't think to just remove the spaces from the name, and instead it had to come back later as Wait. Volume 3 would not have been called Volume Gamma. There was a tweet or Blue Sky post from C418 that specifically said that's not what it's called. Can't remember where, but I know I've seen it. He was replying to someone. Volume release would have been even more lame. One of these days, I can hope they'll figure something out. You probably would have given it some sort of unique title. I'd like to hope. I feel like the third volume was completed before Glow Squid were added in 1.17. I can't remember when he said it was done, but I thought it was like by 2020 or 2019. There was a time where he said it was mostly complete, and then he said however many months later, yeah, it's done. I'm pretty sure what happened is towards the tail end of working on it was when he couldn't figure out the rights, when they couldn't agree on anything. So then afterward, he just ended up finishing the album anyway. And now it goes sitting probably on one of his hard drives, waiting for the day that his lawyers and Microsoft's lawyers can figure something out. Alright, how's this looking? Because I think might be time to start working on this final layer. People might have been able to decode them. I'm sure people tried. In fact, I'm almost certain people did, because the people were making compilation videos on YouTube that included the unreleased track Where Are We Now? So if they were able to decode that one, then yes, surely they were able to decode the others. By decode, it very well could have just been just rename the file extension. I don't know if it's that simple, because I never looked at that myself. But yeah, if people were able to release Where Are We Now early, then surely they were able to release the others. I don't even know if there is a not music format. That's what I was thinking. I wonder if it really is just rename the file. If it's not anything special, Notch probably had it named that just to keep track of which one was regular sound and which one was music. Catch some Z's, reset the weather timer, no snow for me. Four stacks in 34, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna make it. I'm probably gonna need another 3 or 4 stacks. But to find out, let's just toss all this away for now. In fact, yeah, the mushrooms gotta go back. And the blue orchid. Toss that, seeds gotta go. Alright, Wheat, I'm coming over. Have you grown up yet? I think it finally did. Hooray, I get to press the button. Bye-bye. Let me just throw all this as well. I don't know how many of those videos are still around today, but there was a time people were making those compilations. Oop. The full music album compilations way back when. So many of the seeds ended up on the side over here. I wonder if I should increase the wall size. Alright, I'll take... I think it's 3 stacks. Why would you want dispensers to break blocks? Shouldn't you have another dedicated block to do so? Dispensers became so much more useful in release 1.3 and later with the ability to use and dispense minecarts and stuff, minecarts and boats. Such a small feature, but it made for redstone stuff. Made for good redstone contraptions. I've not watched Family Guy. I'm unlikely to ever to do so. I have too many other things on my to-watch list. The dispenser already has multiple uses. Besides, the ability to break blocks would also cause issues with all pre-existing redstone builds that require them to not break any blocks. I'd rather have something dedicated, some sort of drill block that's capable. And if they do, then they could also have it be movable by pistons, because you can't move dispensers with pistons. Alrighty, let's head back down this way. As much as I like this staircase, it feels slow. And I wonder if I should just work on a minecart system. Go wee! Where was I digging again? There's a way over on this side, right? Did I even start the next layer? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just finished up right here. The last vine. Alright, Vine, you get to live. For now, at least. If they have some sort of way to break blocks automatically, especially now with the autocrafter, it would be possible to automate the whole game to just play itself. Because right now, the best we have for block breaking is TNT. Well, that's not efficient. I'd still prefer a dedicated block for it, though, that can be moved by pistons. Or finally add the ability for tile entities to be moved by pistons in Java. Thing is, a lot of people who build redstone on Java who use stuff like furnaces to prevent blocks from moving would not appreciate that. But I think most people like to use obsidian instead of a tile entity. So, Howdy, welcome to the stream. I believe there's a playlist on my channel called The Zelinator's Ultimate Old World Conversion Guide. There you can find all related videos on the topic. You're the first person I know for sure who's come from a Ben the Boss video. I feel like having the music, I forgot to swap that out. I feel like having the music discs available in alpha would make the jukebox more useful. From alpha 1.0.14 when it was added, all the way until beta 1.9 essentially, or beta 1.8, it could only play 2 music discs. That's a little that's it? I feel like there's a boost of people coming from my Instev 624 video. For some reason, that's still getting about 900 views a day. I don't know how that happened. I wonder if I should also clean up some of those lily pads out there. Like how far is this desert supposed to reach? And before I forget, we're gonna swap shovels. Give me that plus 5% durability. I think the time also approaches soon where I'm gonna need to figure out how I'm gonna do the gravel beach over here. But for now, I'll just ignore it, like many other things. Alright, how are we doing on dirt? I have 4 stacks of 19, and I've already accumulated 6 stacks. We are definitely gonna run out of sand. It'd be nice if people are indeed starting to show up more often. Only took me 11 years. Howdy, welcome back. Now here, we'll just grab this real fast, and then I want to swap out every torch. Hold on, let's move this over. Less button clicking between. Wait, I do have to dig all this up as well. Oh boy. Yeah, all of this has to go. Alright, well, one thing at a time, we'll start here. Good news is, I think I only have to make one more trip to the desert. Did you hit view all? I'm pretty sure it was called Ultimate Old World Conversion Guide. I feel like I already have a lot of playlists on here, and it hasn't been updated recently, so it might be in the middle of the list. There's a playlist, not a video. There's a playlist of several videos. Sun's going down. This feels a little dark. Let me plop that torch. I'm glad that the tutorial was useful for you for converting. Indev to Infdev is the most difficult one, I feel. Indev worlds are a pain to work with. Do people even care about other people's favorites? I feel like so often, since it's all subjective, that's not as interesting. I have another video essay currently in the works, although this is more analysis. I'm hoping it'll get done soon, but I'm gonna try harder this time. Because my last two essay videos, there are things I skimped out on. I'd rather not do that. I'm trying to lean closer to my old, well, old meaning like 2 years, Polyworld explanation video. That one is probably my best work. And I'm getting close to that quality. Other than the microphone, since I currently don't have a way to set up the valve index. I'm pretty sure half the tools don't support Mac. Even if I made a tutorial for Mac, the tools would need to be different. Pretty sure people using Linux just figure out their own methods though. But yeah, sorry Mac users. I also can't help for people who have Windows 11 issues, since I'm a grumpy old man set in my ways still using 10. And the way things are going, I'll still get to use 10 all the way until next October. Isn't slash supposed to be a term for like a strike using some sort of blade or sharp object? If stuff works fine on Windows 11, woohoo. But if there are 11 specific issues, which I'm pretty sure there's one, multiple people have reported that MCEdit failed to work for Windows 11, the 64-bit version of MCEdit, and they had to use the 32-bit, even though the 64-bit works fine for me. I think that's a Windows 11 specific issue, but I don't have Windows 11 to verify myself. That's not true. I do have a Windows 11 laptop. I don't like using it, partially because it's a laptop. I'm sure, in fact, I know for certain there are saving mods for Survival Test 0.24. It's not worth the time for me. In fact, in this upcoming video, I will advise people to skip it unless they really want to. I'm pretty sure there's no terrain generator difference between 0.24 and 0.25. So there's not enough of a benefit for me. People like both Alpha 1.1 and Beta 1.7 for the reason of the version after that was a big change. The terrain as a whole between Alpha 1.1 and 1.2 are very different. There's still a lot of the old randomness features, but the whole biome system gives the world a different look compared to neon green everywhere. And then for Beta 1.7, a lot of people don't like Beta 1.8 because it changed survival. Not just the terrain generator, but it changed survival and how you play it with the addition of sprinting and hunger and all that. But yes, a lot of people also don't like Beta 1.8's terrain, whereas Beta 1.7 and earlier was more interesting and varied. Beta 1.8 has, I think, like 6 biomes, other than rivers and oceans. So like once you've seen the 6 biomes, you've seen them all, since all those biomes look the same. It's very static. The 64-bit version of MC8 works fine for you, then I'm not sure why certain people have issues running it. The terrain generation and survival test is the basic 2D noise that you get through much of Classic. The difference between 0.15 and 0.30 essentially come down to lava gets added to the bottom of the world in 0.25. Otherwise, there's no noticeable terrain generator differences between 0.0.15, 15A all the way until 23A, and then from 24A all the way until 30. Survival test has cliffs, but not the type of extreme hills that you would find later. Part of that is the world only generated 64 blocks tall, all through Classic. Terrain was relatively flat on there. Early versions had these very large gorges, particularly the development version we have or the one labeled as 0.11A that was provided in the launcher, has some really steep cliffs, and part of that is the terrain as a whole is very low down compared to being around sea level that we get in later Classic versions. Now let's see. Beta 1.7 over Beta 1.6 fixed clay generation. There is a bug in Beta 1.6. I'm trying to remember when it was introduced. It was either Beta 1.5 or 1.6 specifically that introduced a bug with clay generation, where you can only find clay on x equals z. That is a very, very, very small amount of clay you'll ever find in a world. Beta 1.7 fixed that clay generation bug. But people do also like pistons, so that one's more valid reason, since redstone was rather simple in what could be done previously, but with the addition of pistons, now you can finally change the world, other than just opening doors and turning on torches on or off. Alright, I need to find... Is there any way to make 0.24 save properly? For as much as I like Beta 1.6, that clay generation bug is bothersome. Alas, that's what we have to deal with. And... oops, nope. Double nope, that's not what I wanted. We'll make 4. We'll see how far this gets us. Checks the time, a little more than an hour left of the day. Most mature is understandable. You compare early Alpha 1.0 to Alpha 1.1. There's a lot of quality of life things. One of them being in 1.0.5, I believe, maybe even 5_1, they fixed the bug where a pickaxe breaking any sort of stone block would not drop the item on its last use. Real shame if you were mining diamonds with your iron pickaxe, it broke and you got 0 diamonds. That's unfortunate. Beta 1.6 and inclusive 1.7 ended up fixing the bug where ores were less common in negative quadrants. Hooray! Come on. Sun, go to bed. We'll be heading back to the desert, hopefully for the last time, and grabbing enough sand to finish. Can we see from here? We're almost done. That's a lot of sand I've placed down, but it's not yet desertish. We're getting there. I think once I finish the sand, as well as placing down the dead bushes and the cacti, then it'll look more like a desert. Alpha 1.2 feels like a pre-release to beta, because like you said, between Alpha 1.2 and Beta 1.1, there's just bug fixes and improvements. After Alpha 1.2, the last version to add, or the next version to add new features is Beta 1.2. Well, between Beta 1.1 and Beta 1.2, I'd rather play Beta 1.2, so that way I could enjoy the different tree types. Excuse me, Oreo? Time to go. There's probably some sort of reason that bedrock coloring isn't in Java. I'm not familiar enough with why some parity things are there and why they aren't. Oops, you did not jump at the right time. I wonder if horses are much nicer to travel without an internal server. One of these days, I'll try out the SSP mod from back in the day. I wonder why it took so long to add the different plank types. Like, it's cool that we got new trees in Beta 1.2, but that's it. At least in Beta 1.5, they added new saplings. But we didn't get different plank types until even farther after that. Not to mention the different stairs and slabs for said plank types. It's kind of sadness how they only added the log. This kind of goes back to what I was saying yesterday on why are certain features only enjoyable as part of the world generation. For example, tall grass, shrubs, ferns, stuff like that. You weren't able to collect those with shears for a while. At least with full blocks like ores, in Beta 1.7 you could move ores around with pistons, even though you don't have a way to collect it as an item. But like, the old tree types, you couldn't even get their leaves because shears were in Beta 1.7. So all you had were the logs, and if you chopped down a birch or spruce tree, then the only thing you can get from that were the different log types to build with. That's rather unfortunate. I think Beta 1.3, to reinforce Beta 1.2 being the interim, with Beta 1.3, the world format changed, as well as the addition of beds, and they added different slabs. Oops, let's not lose that shovel. Beta 1.3 is when Minecraft started to feel like beta. Although that gives beta a very short period if beta 1.7 is the last version to feel like beta, since beta 1.8 is the first part of the adventure update. Whereas the game changed quite a lot. I don't think dead bushes are renewable either. For a long time, mossy cobblestone wasn't renewable either. Because all you could get, or all the mossy cobblestone you could find was in dungeons. And then later, 1.3 rolled around, you could find it in dungeons and the jungle temple. And then 1.8 rolled around and they added a crafting recipe with vines and cobblestone. Both vines and cobblestone are renewable. So as of 1.8, mossy cobblestone became renewable. Oop. No Minecraft version feels off-putting. I don't feel that. No version of Minecraft gives me any sort of heebie-jeebies that other people talk about. And I think because a large disconnect between fiction and reality. And so I understand it's all fiction, and I also understand well, Minecraft doesn't have anything malicious hiding in those old versions. Sure, if you don't know what's in the game, then it could be more creepy. But like, I haven't felt that in years, as I've done many hours researching old Minecraft versions. So I know what's there and what's not. Unless I forget something, which happens. So like, I don't feel any sort of dread or anything from old Minecraft versions. Just because it's all empty and quiet and whatnot. I don't feel Alpha 1.2 is jarring either. I have a certain comfort in Alpha 1.2. Part of that is Alpha 1.2, 0.0 specifically, 0.0_2 I believe, holds a special place for me because that was one of the first old versions I tried. That was the first alpha version I ever played, I believe. This would have been 2013. When I was looking at old Minecraft versions, I played Beta 1.8, I played Alpha 1.2, and I played Classic 0.30 Survival Test, because back then the creative version was still available on the website, and so I looked up a tutorial to swap the creative version with the survival test version. So those were the three oldest versions that I've played. For that reason, Alpha 1.2 has a level of comfort for me, because I remember that period of my life. Alpha 1.2's grass doesn't get any change until Beta 1.8. I don't know what the difference is for it to be jarring for you. If the rainforest biome, since truth be told I'm not all too familiar with biomes, if the rainforest biome is still found in beta, then yes, it would have been introduced in Alpha 1.2. Or at least started back then. Since wasn't there one biome? Maybe it was the frozen desert we were talking about. Maybe it was the frozen desert that was in code but not used or something like that. I never thought, that's not true. I did find Disc 13 to be a little unnerving. I will understand that, because there's a lot of mystery to it. And to this day, do we know for sure? None of that's been confirmed. Otherwise, the cave sounds, I always thought those were a little weird. And that's about it. But it never really scared me away from playing the game. I feel like these days I don't hear cave sounds anymore. Am I not playing the right eras? Maybe I'm not around light level 0 enough, because I think that's when they play. I thought parrots danced to every record. Don't quote me on that, because not once have I ever tried. That's not true. I wonder if on my 360 world, not only did I find parrots, but I also played a record for them. I don't remember. You know how long it's been since I last played on my, through the Android world? Not through the Android, across the 360. It's been so long, I believe, since then. The grass color on the sides being the alpha color, and not lining up with the biome makes me sad. Like, that's one of those annoying things. And I'm glad that on my beta 1.3 modded world, part of mod loader I have on there, fix the sides of grass. Party potato. It's those small things that make me happy. And why I kind of have arguments to say that beta 1.5 is the best beta, even though I'm sure people will say beta 1.7 is better, but that's just people being people. Otherwise, beta 1.5 has just enough bugs, and it still has minecart boosting to feel enjoyable and fun, and you can do as you wish. Whereas beta 1.6 and beta 1.7 were bug fixes. In beta 1.7, you can't just slap a sheep for wool, you have to use shears if you want wool. Or you can craft it, but that's not very nice. Truth be told, having the expensive wool, having wool in beta 1.5 and earlier requiring 9 string instead of 4 is annoying, but with how abundant sheep are back then, it's much better to just go around slapping sheep if you want wool. Maybe I subconsciously think too rationally. This goes back to what I was saying with my strong disconnect between fiction and reality. People are afraid of the unknown. And for me in Minecraft, there is a lot that is known. Bad guys are spawning, but I wanna fill up my inventory because I really don't want to come back here again. If I run out of sand one more time, I'm probably just gonna collect it on my own. As it is, this series is already gonna be short. Hybrid grass is a good term. Hybrid grass being from Alpha 1.2 until Beta 1.4. Unless you're playing on fast graphics. I'm pretty sure to this day fast graphics doesn't use the biome tinting on the side of grass blocks, but don't quote me on that. They might have fixed that later. But yeah, if you're playing on fancy, then Beta 1.5 provides the opportunity to see the biome color. My argument against Beta 1.6 being best beta comes down to no more minecart boosting, although that's kind of a sad thing. That's kind of just is what it is, because it means powered rails are useful. Beta 1.6 still has that clay generation bug, which makes it extremely difficult to find. Beta 1.6 prevents you from placing full blocks at the very top of the world. Beta 1.6 fixed the bug where you can climb or you can interact with liquids through the corners of blocks. Can't remember which one, but one of the corners, if you had lava or water there, you can interact with it. Although that was annoying with lava, I admit. But it was useful for water, where you could hide water elevators. What else did Beta 1.6 change? Beta 1.6 also fixed the bug where you could not change your system time. You could set your clock to be in the future, and then the game runs at super speed. That's kind of fun to mess around with. Bye-bye. There's a lot of fun things, fun bugs you could take advantage of in older versions. Although introducing the clay generation bug is not fun. I think that's about it. There's nothing else coming off the top of my head. Now we're doing. Let me just swap these real fast, although I don't think I'm going to use this. Auto-bridging to Java is one of the few features in Bedrock that I would appreciate in Java. I used it so much on my Through the Android world, which was the last series I did, and now I'm kind of sad that I don't think I'll get to enjoy that again. Tall grass, meh, to me, that's my opinion. But trapdoors is fun. Having trapdoors is fun. Having maps is fun. As you can see, I've been walking around with it in my offhand this whole time. Part of that is there's nothing else I could put in the offhand. The only thing I could put here are the maps and arrows. I'm pretty sure I can't even put torches. Cannot put torches. Can't put food. The offhand was so useful in Java, and no platform has ever come close to it. I don't know why it's so limiting on all these other platforms. But anyways, where was I going with that? Trapdoors I do like, but trapdoors are a little difficult to work with until, I think it's 1.8? It's either 1.8 or 1.9 where they changed trapdoors where you could place them anywhere. And the ability to have floating trapdoors not attached to any solid block is such a great feature for building. And the fact that you can have them on the top half of the block. Modern trapdoors are much better compared to when the trapdoors were first introduced. They're planning to add offhand support. Do we know how long that's going to take? Because they were planning to add hardcore to Bedrock as well, and that took a while. Part of that is, you know, all these random death bugs in Bedrock made it a little difficult for them to have confidence that hardcore was ready. I don't know if people still frequently experience random death bugs in Bedrock, but there was a time where it was all over the place. Mainly due to how the internal server is handled differently compared to Java's. And the fact that it took them so long to add the ability to pause the game, that one kind of baffles me. And I think it was the poor design choice to not for Pocket Edition to not support pausing the game to begin with. 4J with their legacy console ports did it right, where yes, the game does run on an internal server, but if it's only you on the world, you can still pause the game. They should have done that for Pocket Edition as well, and it's a shame that they didn't. So for many, many years, Pocket Edition couldn't pause the game. Alright, let me go back to reading. It makes sense that there's a cooldown when switching weapons within the offhand, because the offhand and main hand have different uses. You need to prepare the use you're about to use. Did I miss something about robots? Because all I see is the one message about them not being off-putting. The ones that are off-putting are the ones that try really, really hard to have a human face. That's when we reach Uncanny Valley. Oops, I saw that. That's a full stack. Alright, I need to put away all these seeds because they keep taking up inventory slots. Well, one slot. But that's one more slot where I could put dirt, which I know we're about to collect a bunch of dirt. And boop. Thank you, wheat. I saw you growing up. If only that other wheat that I was yelling at earlier would have done what you did. Alright, back to work over here. There's no way you can enforce a law that requires robots to talk robotically. People have been trying for the past few years, longer than that, but it's gotten good in the past few years for robots to produce synthetic human speech. You would even regulate stuff with robots that are designed to be robotic and not to mirror humans. Who buzzed me? Is it important? Can I wait 40 minutes? Wow, where did the last hour and something go? I think I'll probably have to do that section next. Once I lay down all the sand to fill in this side of the little peninsula, I'll have to dig up that layer next. Which means it might also be time to deal with how I'm gonna handle the beach. I'm pretty sure the gravel beach means just replacing the sand, or replacing the grass with the sand. Let's move that over in case I need it, even though I don't think I will. Doesn't look monstrous. Interesting. The point of something being uncanny is that it's the gray area between something that is dangerous and something that's natural and not dangerous. I'm not at all familiar with the history of ableism. I'm sure people have always existed who are ableists. I don't know where the term uncanny valley comes from, since I don't remember the history of it. I'd have to go back and watch Vsauce, since Vsauce did a video about the uncanny valley. It's where I was first introduced, and I can't remember much of it other than glimpses of that graph and why it's called the uncanny valley, because it's the valley between two high points that I don't remember what the chart represented. So if a blind person wants to use AI for their YouTube channel, what did blind people do for the YouTube channels before AI? Ableism has been getting less and less because people get threatened more and more when they show it. Naturally, people don't like being threatened. Alright, I might have to start from the bottom again. There is nothing new under the sun. People have been ableists for many, many centuries. It did not just emerge, it's part of natural human tendencies. Alright, how do I want to cut this off? I think this is where I just start digging all this up. Howdy Koski, welcome back. Maybe we'll start like right here. Let me make sure that this is correct. Boop. Alright, we need... bring this over. How could blind people edit videos? Edit the visual portion of videos. I feel like it'd be smarter to have someone who can see to do the video editing. You know, said blind person like writes the script and voices it and all that. Alright, I think we're getting there. I just have to get rid of all this grass. I need to turn this into something that looks like a desert. Maybe this is the part where we find the sandstone. Because all my procrastination has led me to this point where I need to figure out what exactly I'm supposed to do here to make this look like a desert. Oh, hold on. I need to do all this. Oops. We'll just get rid of that. Alright, there we go. Hold on. The procrastination continues, apparently. It sounds like an interesting process of which I'd probably watch a video on, but I feel like this is something I would use for background noise and not entirely pay attention. Having little shortcuts, I suppose, for the proper editing is indeed kind of interesting. Make do with what you can. I would say have fun and enjoy your classes, but I cannot guarantee that the class you're about to go to is fun or enjoyable. But thanks for dropping on by. I turned around, and next thing I know, we really do in fact have something that sort of looks like a desert. Huh. Alright, let me get rid of all this, and I think what we'll do, we'll spend 2 stacks. This will get us half a stack of sandstone. Plus, hold on, let me go find out. This is continued studies for... I forgot to add more sand. This is your continued studies for the Bible you were talking about a few days ago. Moon's coming up. We gotta sleep. But first, let me grab some sand. I thought you said recently that you said you were doing Bible studies. Studies of the Bible from a secular standpoint or something like that. Maybe you're just rephrasing that if you couldn't remember talking about it. Because I thought the last time you were here, that's one of the things you mentioned. Is there static? I saw noises popping up on OBS that I wasn't trying to make. Alright, so we have sand, we have sandstone. Let's see how exactly I want to position all this, because ideally I need to get rid of the dirt on the sides. If I really wanted, I could probably, with the sandstone I have, I could probably just cover it up if I wanted. They're heading out too. Alright, well thanks for dropping on by. I don't think I want to do this because I don't really want to do all that, but I'm thinking I think I'll start with like a recessed shell. We'll start here and then I'll build this up some more to the point where it'll look better once covered in sand. I guess the amount of studying you'll get to do is dependent on how much money you'll want to spend. Oops. Alright, I think maybe I should grab more gravel. Make more of this a gravel beach. Hold on, we're gonna come back. I remember that Shia LaBeouf video. Didn't that come out in like 2013 or 2014? Do you know how long it's been since then? It even made it into YouTube Rewind. Remember when YouTube Rewind was still around? Those were the days. I'd look forward to it every year. For the first few years. And then, you know, 2018 happened. 2017, I'd say, is the start of the downfall, although others will argue 2016 was the start. I think 2016 is alright. 2017, and for sure 18, I'm not a fan of. Tell a few grand's worth, or sell a few grand's worth? Alright, there we go. That makes more sense. Alright, I'm thinking we'll extend the gravel beach out to maybe here. I don't know how I'm gonna blend this. I feel like I'm gonna end up just shaving this all down. YouTube drifting over from actual popular YouTube channels to celebrities is one of the reasons. One of the big reasons as to why it declined so much. They did not represent the YouTube community. Excuse me, did I not place that? Oh, well, nope, guess not. Alrighty, we're looking at... I'll put away the bread and hope I don't need it. So I want to have gravel right up there. In fact, hold on. Here, let me take a look at this. Drop that, drop that. I think I could get away with... dig this up. Because this has to be sand. Every so often, I just have to accept that YouTube gets rid of a feature that was nice. One of the things is, I don't know if you have a channel that you regularly upload content to, but it was very easy before to hop into YouTube Studio and see on your videos list your likes and dislikes, like the amount of likes and dislikes on a video. They removed that. They buried it way in some random place I don't remember. So you have to take your sweet time being able to find a specific video on the amount of likes and dislikes it has. Whereas previously you could just hop in the studio and there it was. And I think to myself, why? That was such a great metric. Sure, whatever, you want to take it from the public's view. I don't have enough ability to fight that. But like, why take it out of the creator's own studio? That one baffled me. Because I had to look up where it went. Because I wanted to see my 624 video and its likes and dislikes. Oh wait. Is it really just Reddit? Is that what it's come down to? Remember when Netflix used to show... What was it? Was it the Stars? I think the Stars was the old system they had. And like, the Stars were nice because it showed the balance of user ratings or whatever. That doesn't happen anymore. And I think to myself, but why? And as I sit here, I'm starting to think maybe it really is just Reddit that's left. When an individual's voting power is very small, to the point where it's essentially non-existent, how much motive is there to vote? Is this my last shovel? This is! Where'd my shovels go? I'm gonna need to swap this soon. Good news is, we won't be going back to the desert. Hooray! I'm confident that we have enough of this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end up filling all this in and just put the sand on top of it and call it a day. It was neat having this little lake here, but truth be told, trying to build with it is more of a hassle than it's worth. I'd rather just fill it in. Not entirely, but just cover it up enough. No one will ever know that there's a torch holding up that one sand block. And if that was the torch block, now it's holding up two. I might have to sacrifice some of this dirt. Well, you know what? Here, I could just pull her up there. Never mind. Alright. I think we're all good. Let me head back. I wasn't around enough during the early internet days, meaning the early 2000s into the 2010s, because I didn't start spending a fair amount of time on YouTube until probably 2012 or so, because that's when I started watching Minecraft videos. Alright, drop that torch. Oh, hold on, maybe there. Did I do it? Did I successfully build a very small gravel beach? This is a very, very small gravel beach, but it's technically accurate. You've got your water leading into one layer of gravel with another layer of gravel, and then you have your two block jump right next to it. Very, very rarely do I ever go on Quora. The only ever times I do it is if I'm looking up questions, particularly like coding related or programming related. I look up questions and I end up seeing a fair amount of answers on there to people asking similar questions. Yeah, I think we're nearly done here. Let me just fill in lots of these little areas, get rid of some of these lily pads, and then I think I can plot down the cactus and the dead bushes, although I don't have any cacti on me right now. Someone, big company or whoever who had a lot of money, told YouTube, no, you can't show these anymore. I think people were thinking it was Disney. Oh no, how did a cactus block end up here? Do I really need to put full blocks? Well, dang. It was either Disney or YouTube itself, which, truth be told, either one would be understandable. Do I want 8? Nah, let's take more than that. The reason why people thought it was Disney is because they put out some trailer, I can't remember which one, and it got bombed. It got dislike bombed. Partially because whatever movie or whatever they were showing off, people really didn't like. And so I don't blame the people. Can't remember what it was. And then after that, people speculated that was one of the reasons why YouTube got rid of the visible dislike feature. I didn't know that frames, or I did not know that view counted by watching a single frame. I didn't know how YouTube counts views to begin with. Alright, hold on, let me just grab a few more cacti. Drop more torches, because as I'm looking around, there's a little bit more darkness than I wanted there to be. Alright, that's good enough for now. We're going to be very sparse with these dead bushes, mainly because we don't have too much to begin with. Alright, now we're entering the realm of where do we still stand? Or where do people still mark their definitions for left versus right? And I'm starting to think also I might want to get rid of the vines. Because it's little, I'm realizing it's a little, starting to spread out a little bit. In fact, here's what I will do. I will grab the original. I don't know what I'll do with that one vine, but I'll hold on to it for now. We'll be back later. I'll probably start some sort of vine farm. We're gonna head over to the desert, but not for sand, thankfully. There's the loophole. We're gonna head over because I want more dead bushes. Scotch some Z's, reset the weather timer. You say he's an absolute Democrat. Who? Did I miss the subject? Sometimes I miss messages. I own up to that. Other times I do ignore. I own up to that too. One of these days I'll need to come back and make a pig farm. It'll be tier 3 on there. I just haven't done that because we don't really need pigs for now. The only reason why we have sheep and cows, I needed sheep for the wool and I need cows for the leather. Except then I found the stronghold with a somewhat decent library, even though half of it burned down, but that's okay. And I was able to get lots of books from that library, and so I don't really need any more leather. Unless I want to work on item frames. 20 minutes says OBS, 25 minutes says the clock. I think this desert's nearly done though. Oh, you could even see it on the map, that's cool. Twitter being personified as a he? Oh, to create and count view posts, I see. Oh my gosh, the one I left behind. You know what, here. You know what, no, let's do this a little bit nicer. Oh, he referring to Musk. Oh, I see. Yeah, if that was stated anywhere, I missed it. There we go. This way, I will... That one little dead bush gets to live for the rest of their life. Of course, because if you've reached the end of your life, then you will not be living. I don't know how many of these dead bushes we're going to collect, but I want a bunch of them. YouTube filtered that part of the message. That's definitely not me. I do not have Musk as a blocked word. This place looks even less like a desert now. Not only is it super flat, I got rid of most of the cacti, and now I'm cleaning up the dead bushes. Huh. The tables are turning. Alright, we're at 16 more. That should be good enough. Hiccup. Yeah, some of these trees gotta go. I want a direct route to this desert since I seem to visit it very frequently. But at the same time, I still have a bunch of sand left over. And I don't have any other desert-related projects. I don't know what I'll need any more of this for. I should look around, though. Yeah, honestly, other than probably a little too much, I've probably placed down a little too many cacti here. This does have the same feeling of a fake desert. As it also makes sense to have a river dividing, so around this desert, that's where you get the swamp. I'm trying to think, what of modern Twitter that I still like compared to old Twitter? Auto-translate posts is kind of fun. Don't know how accurate they are, but that doesn't stop them from being fun. I guess we'll keep this last one since I don't know where to put it. Or I could just say, boop. Community nodes. Was that really added after he started? I didn't realize they were that recent. Although, truth be told, I don't think about them all too often unless I happen to come across a post that has them. I do like community nodes. Mainly because that is the community. Okay, I probably overdid it on the dead bushes, but that's okay. This has the same feel of a desert, right? That's the important part. So, in that regard, I succeeded. The rename is dumb, of which I don't understand why. To this day, I still don't know why. Oop. Is Japanese Twitter like the only major country now? Because I saw one, like I saw the post, the big one, where he said like, okay, Americans should now see posts from Japan or something like that. I don't remember exact wording. But like on that day and for the next 3 or 4 days, I saw so many posts from Japanese accounts. And like I think to myself, is that the only country now? Like were they region locked or something? And now Japan or posts from Japan are able to reach the rest of us. That chest is full, that's right. I filled it up. Toss that, toss that. Yeah, well, so much for having 2 cobblestone chests, so now, I guess now both of those are going to be dedicated to dirt. Sand, 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 move the sandstone. You know, that's not true. Let me grab this and that, oops. What I'm looking for is, oops, I need food. I just want to fill in the last of the edges there where I'm going to put the staircase because, you know, we still have time for the day. Because what we're going to do now is extend the pathway over there, which means I guess that one cactus is going to have to move. Oops. Because we're going to build the pathway right through here, basically. In fact, that torch has to move as well. Alright, let me think. How do I want to do this? So we'll have, say, 2 blocks of sand. We'll have 2 blocks of sand and then sandstone down from the surface. I also need to come back here with glass for that, but it can wait. Alright, so move that over. And then I need to remember I had a torch there. Oh, yeah, that looks fine, because then the sandstone also kind of goes into the sandstone for the wall here. Yeah, this will work. There's a question sort of related to Twitter. Is Blue Sky still super active? I remember when people were heading over there in droves. Is that still happening? As someone who isn't on Blue Sky very much. Truth be told, there's like 2 accounts I only check on there so often. Nobody I personally know is active on there that I can think. Although, truth be told, the same people I do know online don't actively go on Twitter either. I need the sandstone, but I also needed glass. Oh wait, I put glass down there, oops. When you say you hate Minecraft ads, where do you see ads? Because if you still see ads in 2026, I feel like you might not be using the internet correctly. Of course, that's just my opinion. Ah, use the YouTube mobile app. Does anyone actively like the YouTube mobile app? That's slightly sarcastic, because truth be told, I can't get over it. I'd rather watch YouTube in a mobile browser. Which website? Which website is neglected? Yeah, so I think we'll leave this stone And then I guess I'll just cover this area. Oh, the YouTube website. I see. Yeah, we're gonna bump this up real fast. And because what I want to do is, I want to put a torch right there and right there. I'm also thinking, I kind of want to move that torch. I'll put one on both sides, there we go. Alright, so with that taken care of, we're gonna dig up all the sand that we just placed down. Because now, we're gonna head over here. I don't know if I've heard of Revanced before. Just move that temporarily. Oh man, this is right at the edge. This is right at the edge here. Oh boy. That's unfortunate. Alright, a few more minutes, then I could turn the fan on. Because I'm definitely reaching the cooking phases. We'll sleep, grab dark oak planks and stairs, and we'll move from there. Marketplace add-ons are basically free advertisement because essentially Minecraft gets to advertise stuff more interesting. That's what's in the main game. And it's an infinite content generator, so there's always new stuff to pull from. You say they refuse to add furniture. We got a big improvement when they added the cushion. The cushion's still coming out, right? Surely, surely. We also got closer with the addition of wool stairs and slabs, although that's not really furniture. That's pseudo-furniture. The first time I downloaded Minecraft, I got lucky, and like, it was the Anjo Kaido launcher, and somehow I ended up not totally ruining my whole laptop because it worked. The Anjo Kaido launcher was legitimate, and so I used that for about 6 months or so until I bought a premium account. That's not true. It wasn't called a premium account by then. They already moved over to the Mojang account system. The premium Minecraft accounts were first. The Mojang account was second, and now it's the Microsoft account. I'm glad I grabbed more wood. Aw, man, I'm out of stairs. Whoops. When I bought the game in December 2012, they were talking about migrating over to Mojang accounts. Alas, I've missed that era. Nope, I don't like that, because now I need to have this here. It's not false advertising if they specifically state in the ad that it's marketplace content. The question is, do they do that? Or will people read the text that's that small? Let me grab just a little bit more dirt. Oops, no, don't replace that vine. In fact, hold on, I have so much dirt, let me just not dig up this area. I thought it was InDev that introduced the texture. I could be mistaken, it could have been InDev. I know what texture you're talking about because it was part of the sheet, and it just never went used. And I came back here because I needed stairs, that's what I was doing. I did not need to make 24 of those, thank you. I don't know what Hypixel housing is. I know what Hypixel is. Remember Hightail? I need to get back to it. I don't know if I will, but I want to. And I went the wrong way. Because I came back for... Dirt, that's what it was. I forgot which building block I needed. If they're adding small features that the community has wanted, I feel like that's just part of keeping up with the times. They're trying. I feel for the first time in many, many years, Mojang is trying to appease the community by implementing features that they actually want. They're ever so slowly starting to listen to the community now, and I really do wonder if that's because there's a big change of management that took place. There we go, except I forgot the glass to put in here. That's my mistake. Alright, once this dirt turns to grass, I think we can now call it complete. How's my fake desert turning out? I think I'm rather happy. I even got my gravel beach next door. I'm very happy with this little peninsula here. Although I do still kind of want to put a bridge on this side, because if I start chopping down these trees because they're in the way, I'm going to want a bridge, probably right here, because I really like this area, so I can just boop boop. Otherwise, the desert is like diagonal, which means if I were to build a bridge over here, this would be a little inefficient. The wheat data value glitch. I know what glitch you're talking about, but I didn't realize it showed up on there. I guess I was kind of thinking that was just a missing texture. I'm pretty sure they're not going to add sharks. People have wanted sharks for a long time, and they've repeatedly said no. Alright, let's toss away everything we don't need, because we are coming upon the end of the day, of which I'm quite satisfied with how this turned out. They repeatedly said no because they don't want to introduce real-world animals that could be put in a bad light. Something like that. The Switch Edition has base version 0 plus 17 updates. So there's 18 total versions, and we are on the 10th update, I think. Yeah, if we're on the 10th update, there's 6 more to go. Unicorns are more likely to be added than sharks for the time being because unicorns are fake. If someone tells you otherwise, they are delusional until proven correct. Being neutral, like polar bears, makes sense to me. So there's got to be a reason, another reason why they haven't done it yet. I'm looking for... Oh, we're nearly at the end. Oops, no one told me that we are done for the day. Hold on, let me just drop the seeds real fast. Otherwise, if you have final thoughts, start saying them now. Let me grab all this real fast. That's not the drop button anymore. I need to remember that. Good job me changing it and forgetting that I changed it. Yes, that is indeed all it for the day. As we take a look at our fake desert, and I'd say this can pass as a real desert biome, if you weren't told otherwise. Yeah, that's all it for this time. Thank you all for watching. Bye.